Throughout history, power has been a force both for creation and for destruction. In the wrong hands, leadership can become a devastating weapon. In this second journey into the most dangerous rulers of history, we look at figures whose reigns caused suffering on a staggering scale, leaders whose names still provoke fear, sorrow, and deep reflection. These rulers reshaped the world in ways that are both haunting and unforgettable. Welcome to Tides of Memory, where history is not forgotten. My name is Tom. If you haven't seen part 1 of the most dangerous rulers of history, I would recommend to go watch that video after this one. Our story begins with Mao Zedong, the founding father of the People's Republic of China. To his supporters, he was a symbol of revolution and national pride. But behind the slogans and posters, Mao's leadership unleashed one of the greatest human tragedies of the 20th century. His Great Leap Forward, launched in the late 1950s, was intended to rapidly industrialize China and surpass Western economies. Instead, it created a catastrophic famine. Millions of people were forced into communal farms. Unrealistic production targets led to widespread food shortages, and between 1959 and 1961, it's estimated that up to 45 million people died as a direct result of starvation and related causes. Yet even after this disaster, Mao continued to tighten his grip on the country. During the Cultural Revolution, which began in 1966, he mobilized millions of young people to purge counter-revolutionaries, leading to widespread persecution, imprisonment, and countless deaths. Intellectuals were humiliated, beaten, and sometimes killed. Entire generations grew up in an atmosphere of suspicion, fear, and blind loyalty. Mao's vision was one of transformation, but the cost was almost unimaginable human suffering. From Asia, we move to Africa, where Uganda in the 1970s fell under the rule of Idi Amin. Known to many as the Butcher of Uganda, Amin seized power through a military coup in 1971. At first, he was welcomed by some as a leader who might restore order after years of instability. But very quickly, Amin's reign descended into brutality. Mass executions, disappearances, and ethnic persecution became commonplace. Entire communities lived in terror, never knowing when soldiers might arrive at their homes. It is estimated that between 100,000 and 500,000 Ugandans lost their lives during his rule. Amin's erratic behavior, coupled with his ruthless policies, isolated Uganda from much of the world and devastated its economy. His rule serves as a stark reminder of how quickly power, when unchecked, can descend into madness and bloodshed. In Europe, the 20th century saw the rise of leaders whose regimes left deep scars on history. Benito Mussolini, the founder of Italian fascism, promised to restore Italy's glory by reviving the grandeur of the Roman Empire. Charismatic and theatrical, Mussolini manipulated public opinion with mass rallies, propaganda, and a carefully crafted image of strength. However, beneath the spectacle, Mussolini's policies crushed political dissent, destroyed civil liberties, and launched aggressive military campaigns that would cost thousands of lives. His alliance with Nazi Germany and entry into World War II on the Axis side dragged Italy into a devastating conflict. Eventually, his own people turned against him. In 1945, he was captured and executed by Italian partisans. Mussolini's fate stands as a powerful testament to how pride and dictatorship can lead not to greatness, but to ruin. Crossing into the Middle East, we find the figure of Saddam Hussein, who ruled Iraq with an iron fist from 1979 until 2003. Saddam's rule was marked by widespread human rights abuses, suppression of ethnic minorities, and brutal wars. His campaign against the Kurdish population, known as the Anfal campaign, involved chemical weapons attacks, mass executions, and the destruction of entire villages. Tens of thousands of Kurds perished. Saddam's invasion of Iran sparked a bloody 8-year conflict that killed an estimated 1 million people. His invasion of Kuwait in 1990 led to the Gulf War and further isolated Iraq internationally. Saddam maintained his power through a mixture of fear, propaganda, and relentless violence. His eventual capture and execution closed a dark chapter, but the wounds he inflicted on Iraq and its people remain open to this day. In Central Africa, another ruler left a legacy soaked in tragedy. King Leopold II of Belgium never set foot in the Congo Free State, yet under his private rule, millions of Congolese suffered and died. Claiming to bring civilization and Christianity, Leopold exploited the land and its people for rubber and ivory, using forced labor and brutal punishments. Villages were burned, families torn apart, and unspeakable atrocities committed, all to feed the greed of a distant king. It is estimated that during Leopold's rule, the population of the Congo was reduced by as much as 50%. International outrage eventually forced Leopold to relinquish control, but by then the damage was irreparable. His actions show how colonial ambition, masked as benevolence, can lead to genocide. Another figure whose name remains synonymous with fear is Kim Jong-il of North Korea. Ruling from 1994 until his death in 2011, Kim continued the totalitarian regime established by his father, Kim Il-sung. North Korea under Kim was a nation of stark contrasts. Public displays of loyalty, military parades, and grand monuments stood against a backdrop of famine, isolation, and severe repression. During the 1990s, North Korea experienced a devastating famine, which claimed hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of lives. Political dissent was ruthlessly crushed, with entire families sent to labor camps for the actions of a single member. Information from the outside world was strictly controlled. For most citizens, the line between truth and propaganda blurred into non-existence. Kim's rule turned North Korea into one of the most secretive and isolated nations on Earth, a legacy that endures even today. Further east, we encounter Emperor Hirohito of Japan, whose reign during World War II remains the subject of much debate. While some portray Hirohito as a constitutional monarch with limited real power, others argue he was complicit in the military aggression and atrocities committed by Japanese forces, including the Nanking Massacre, where hundreds of thousands of civilians were killed. Whether as an active participant or a passive figurehead, Hirohito's era saw untold suffering across Asia. After Japan's defeat, he remained on the throne, but the war forever altered the nation's place in the world. Then there is Francisco Franco, who ruled Spain from the end of the Spanish Civil War in 1939 until his death in 1975. Franco's regime was characterized by authoritarianism, censorship, political repression, and the execution of thousands of opponents. His alliance with fascist powers during the early years of World War II and his later survival as Europe's last major fascist leader cemented his controversial place in history. Yet Franco also managed to maintain stability in Spain during a period when much of Europe was consumed by war. His rule remains deeply divisive, with many Spaniards still grappling with his legacy. History often reveals a tragic truth. Those who seek the most power are often the least capable of wielding it wisely. Whether through ambition, ideology, fear, or cruelty, these rulers left trails of devastation that crossed borders and generations. They remind us of the importance of vigilance, of questioning authority, and of understanding that leadership should serve people, not oppress them. As we reflect on these figures, we must remember the countless lives affected by their decisions, millions of individual stories, each filled with dreams, struggles, and hopes, extinguished or forever altered. History is not just a record of rulers and wars, it is a tapestry woven from the experiences of all those who lived through their reigns. Their lessons, painful as they may be, are among the most important we have. In the shadows of power, we find not only the darkness of ambition, but also the light of human resilience. Every time tyranny rose, so too did courage. Every time injustice reigned, voices of resistance refused to be silenced. That perhaps is the greatest memory we can hold on to, that even in the darkest chapters of history, hope and humanity endure. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of history's most dangerous confrontations, don't forget to check out part 1, where we talk about Stalin, Adolf Hitler, and more dangerous rulers. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss our weekly history explainers. Thanks for watching, and remember, those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. See you next time on Tides of Memory. And as always, stay curious.